Hi, I'm Nina Zolt, and for the past 15 years I've been a social entrepreneur because I care about helping every child succeed. I've worked in education technology. Prior to that, I was an entertainment lawyer and a media executive, so I've been fortunate in being involved in the transition from physical media to digital media, and now from digital media into collaborative media. Most recently, I have been focused on mentoring and global collaboration by founding Into Books and ePals. I'm particularly interested in what it means to be a 21st century learner. And I'd like to show you what I mean by telling you a bit about what a typical day at ePals is like. ePals is a global learning community, and it reaches more than 1 million classrooms in 200 countries and territories. That means that executives have to synchronize activities and content among multiple time zones, languages, and cultures. With regard to our physical magazines like Cobblestone and Cricket, we have editors and writers who have to be concerned with what's going on throughout the globe because they're writing for an international audience. With our mentoring programs, we have to ensure the safety of the exchanges between our children and adult volunteers from organizations like United Way and NFL. And with regard to our international collaborations, we've got software engineers and educational teams in Herndon, Virginia, who are collaborating with their counterparts in Dalian, China, to make sure that they're building a platform that works for all sorts of different needs of different educational organizations in all different places. So what do we see from that? We see that in order to succeed in a 21st century work environment, someone has to be able to collaborate, be a good team member, be able to coordinate across technology, asynchronously and synchronously, research, explain, build ideas so that they can share them with other people, and be prominently understanding of different cultures and different languages. The good news is there's a broad consensus around about what it means to be a 21st century learner. And governments and education organizations and businesses throughout the world have all centered around this concept of a 21st century learner. It means that tons of resources and opportunities are focused on the same groups of definitions of what it means to learn. And outside the U.S., it's called skill-based learning or 21st century learner. In the U.S., we most commonly refer to what's going on with the Common Core. I think the Common Core gives us a decent roadmap about how to build a 21st century learner. I know there's been some conflict about the Common Core, but I think most of it has been centered around state and federal control and testing rather than the content of the Common Core. So for me, technology has a unique role to play in building this 21st century learner. So there are 3 unique ways that I think technology enables deeper and better learning, and those are the things I'd like to talk about today. They are workplace simulation, access to expert content and experts, and more prolonged and purposeful global collaborations. To me, once we accept that the purpose of schooling is to build college and career readiness skills, then the more authentic we can make that experience, the more similar learning in school is to what you need to do in college, what you will do in the workplace, the more successful we're going to be in building the kinds of 21st century learners that we want. So if we think about the blended, the flipped classrooms, the virtual classrooms, all of the ways that teachers are extending the class day right now, all of a sudden we have we're no longer confined by the geography or the time of the day. And teachers can start to think about where best to put the learning resources. But more importantly, students have much more autonomy. All of a sudden, students can connect with other students about the same subject. There can be prolonged discussions. They can watch a video 20 times. They can watch it once. Whatever it is that they need, it's putting them in control of their own learning. I was watching Saul Khan talk about founding Khan Academy, and he talked about how when he was tutoring his cousins, they liked the little videos he made better than him. Well, it made me chuckle because it makes all the sense in the universe. If students can control what it is they're watching, when it is they're watching, they're going to be much more invested in its outcome and enjoy it more. I also think this works for teachers and for families. Having a common place online that resources can be distributed and accessed enables everyone to participate in the learning in a more unified and coherent way. Secondly, we have better access to experts and expert content. Instead of the homogenized textbooks and being limited to the libraries in schools or in classrooms, all of a sudden we have a much broader access to information. And if we think about how people outside the classroom need to research information, what do? They access the experts. They find articles written by people who are steeped in the field. They try to find the best information they can. And that's the opportunity that we're bringing to students. Traditionally, if you wanted to bring an expert to the school, it had to be scheduled months in advance. Probably when the actual day came, 3 days before were snow days, and it was the last day you actually wanted to bring an expert based on what you needed to do in the classroom. But all of a sudden now you can architect for your convenience when you want an expert to be present, and you all of a sudden have access to information from the Smithsonian, from the Library of Congress, from places all over the world that dedicate themselves to coming up with the most accurate factual information about subjects. A great example of this is the ePals and Smithsonian Invent It Challenge. It's a contest to encourage kids to solve a real-world problem by inventing something. We've worked with experts to create K-12 curriculum that reflects the actual process of invention and provided a step-by-step process that's accessible to teachers, to families, to homeschoolers, anybody who's interested in guiding a student in invention. And what we've seen is that kids really want to talk to other kids who have invented, kids want to talk to inventors, and we provide this all in a basic community that enables them to specifically know they can find anything and everything they need to do to invent simply by going on the site. Last year's winners were two of the winners that I thought were particularly fun was a 14-year-old who created a travois to help Somalian refugees carry their children and possessions over long distances. And then on a lighter note, there was the 10-year-old who created a light for her mom's purse so she could find her keys. These kids are working with patent attorneys to patent their inventions and thinking about how to productize them, and they've received press from all over the world. This experience is an on-ramp to actually becoming inventors. I'm sure that some of the inventors that we encourage, and we get entries from all over the world, will actually become grown-up inventors. This process of learning, of connecting the classroom to the real-life experience of what it means to do something as a grown-up, makes learning much more relevant for students and for families. And for teachers, it opens the door to an incredible assortment of resources that lets them customize their curriculum much more closely to the needs of the students in their classroom. The third area that I think is really exciting is our ability to truly learn globally. Yes, people have been able to collaborate by snail mail forever across continents, but it hasn't had the same presence, the same ability to really be productive and look at something from a day-to-day, really purposeful collaboration. At ePals, we've had students studying global warming, studying water, studying climate change, and they have the ability to do it across the world. Because we have more than 200 countries and territories, any subject that a teacher wants to study, it's likely that they can find a learning partner where they're studying, so that they can bring the authentic, actual nature of what's happening in a country to them. In China, we have an ongoing cultural exchange. And instead of what used to be the case, where you'd read an article about how Chinese kids eat with chopsticks, now a Chinese pen pal can upload a video showing himself using chopsticks and explaining it to his friends. So what does this all mean? Well, it means that I'm incredibly optimistic about the future of education. I think we're going to see a disaggregation where the physical school boundaries, ages, and grades start to have less and less meaning. And we're going to start to see much more of a holistic and continuum that enables learners to find areas of interest and move more seamlessly from school into the workplace. I see a growing involvement of mentors and experts, and I see us encouraging better and more independent learning, both on the parts of students and teachers.